Aloha, this is Heidi at Easy Peasy. In this video, I'm going to show you multiple ways that you can use wool for cloth diapering. Here on Easy Peasy, we focus on natural fiber cloth diapering. So the main natural fibers used in cloth diapering are cotton, hemp, linen, silk, and wool. Let's take a close look at some of the options for incorporating wool into your cloth diaper stash. Here are some of the options we'll go over: a wool diaper cover, wool liner, wool boosters, and diapers that include wool in the fiber content of the absorbency. The most common way that wool is used for cloth diapering is in the form of wool diaper covers, such as this Baby Green's Snap Wrap. So this is used on top of an absorbent cloth diaper. You wrap this onto your baby, you can fasten it with a snappy or diaper pins, and then once they're wearing this absorbent portion of the diaper, you would put the water repellent cover over top. So for wool in the care, we often hand wash it. This type of cover does need to be hand washed and hung to dry. And then we do what we call lanolizing it. And please don't be intimidated by that process. It's pretty simple. I have a couple separate videos all about washing and lanolizing wool, but it basically means to add some of the lanolin oils back to the cover. Sheep naturally produce lanolin, and it helps them to repel the elements such as rain from their wool. So once you have that little bit greasy oil coating on this, it just makes the wool even more water repellent, which helps to keep the moisture inside the absorbent diaper. Wool also has the property of being absorbent, so if your diaper underneath were to get super saturated, this type of diaper, a fitted, is fully absorbent, so the inside, the outside, all of this diaper can absorb. If it just got too saturated with pee, that there was excess, then this wool cover would actually start to absorb some of the excess. And that's why wool diaper covers are such a great option for nighttime, because they're less likely to leak because they can absorb excess moisture. A wool cover is basically an alternative to a polyester cover, such as this Thirsty's Duo Wrap cover. These are often referred to as TPU covers or PUL covers, and that's just referring to the plastic waterproof layer on the fabric, but the outer fabric is often polyester. These are considered waterproof, but if the absorbency underneath gets too saturated, then it will start to wick out around the leg holes or leak out of the cover. So with this, the cover itself is only for waterproof. It does not provide any absorbency. With the wool, it both helps to keep the moisture in the diaper, and this cover itself can absorb excess moisture. Another way to incorporate wool is using wool stay-dry liners. So often when a diaper is lined with a stay-dry liner, it's often polyester fabric such as micro fleece or athletic wicking jersey. Those are all basically plastic, whereas wool is a natural fiber. It comes from an animal. If you're going to use a stay-dry liner, you're going to want a very thin piece of wool, not a thick or felted one. We want, when the baby pees, for the pee to soak through this layer, get absorbed by the diaper, and then leave the wool against the baby's skin still feeling warm and dry. So in this option, you do not put any lanolin on the liner, you don't lanolize it. If you did, that might cause the pee to repel back towards baby's skin and pull on the liner and cause the baby to be wet. So you want thin layer of wool. You don't want lanolin on it if you're using it as a stay-dry liner inside the diaper against baby's skin. In contrast, this is a wool booster. So this one is meant for additional absorbency. This one is felted. It's quite a bit thicker. What I've accidentally done to some of my liners is put them through the machine on a hot wash, and they'll felt and get thicker, and then they're better off used as a booster. If you want to use a wool booster, then you're taking advantage of the absorbent properties of wool. This particular fitted diaper I have by Spunky Rumps is a pocket diaper, so it has this pocket here, and that's where the absorbency is. This is a blend of cotton and hemp. It is really absorbent, but say maybe for nighttime or a heavy wetter, if I wanted to add more absorbency, I could also put this wool booster. I would put it farther away from baby, so keeping the cotton hemp absorbency closer to baby. Then go ahead and stuff it in this pocket here. The shell of this fitted diaper is made out of Tencel lyocell, which is a more eco-friendly process for making rayon, and it kind of has somewhat of a stay-dry feeling itself. So now when baby's wearing this fitted diaper, when the baby pees, first it would go into this layer, which would kind of wick it down. It would get absorbed by this cotton hemp, And then if this got really saturated, this wool would also start to absorb as well. My guess is not much moisture would even make it to the outside layer here of this diaper, but if it did, this is also absorbent, and then you have your wool cover over top. This wool booster is by Bumby Wool. They also do offer liners, so double check if you're purchasing what you're purchasing, and this liner is by One Love Diaper Co. There is another way that you could use either a wool liner or wool booster, and that is to lay it directly onto your wool cover. That's kind of providing an extra layer for your cover. If you're doing this, then you may want to lanolize this, so this wool repels the liquid back to the diaper, and then you'll have your absorbent diaper inside. Or you can do that with the booster too, just lay it in the cover. You can either leave it with no lanolin if you want it to be an absorbent layer without bulking up the diaper anymore, or you could lanolize it if you want it to be just making an extra thick layer there for your cover. Sometimes when you put extra layers on the outside of the diaper, that helps to maintain a good fit of the diaper on your baby. If you start stuffing the diaper itself too full, you might have kind of gaps around the legs where there's leaks. So sometimes when you're adding boosters, you can think about not only adding them in the diaper, but outside the diaper as well. I also have this origami shaped wool liner by the Blythe Life. Now this was intended to be a liner, so originally I was using this against my baby's skin, but I got tired of that when you're using a liner, it needs to be hand washed on cold, and I ended up just throwing this into the washing machine on a warm or hot cycle. It felted and got thicker, so now if I were to use this, I would not use it directly against the skin anymore. I would use it farther away from my baby, since it is thicker. Another way to use wool and cloth diapering is when the wool fiber is actually incorporated into the absorbent fabric that you're using. I believe for both of these, the fabric is a blend of rayon from bamboo plus merino wool plus spandex for stretch. This one here is a toddler size flat by Nikki's Knickers, so she has her own fabric specifically milled for her. So this blend you would only get from Nikki's Knickers. It's kind of a French terry, a little bit of loops on here. It does have spandex for a lot of nice stretch. It's a big toddler size. This could either be folded how I had it in origami fold, or you could just pad fold it and lie inside a diaper. So in this instance, you're taking advantage of wool's absorbency to incorporate it into your absorbent diaper that you then use inside a cover. When you use an absorbent diaper that contains wool fiber in it, you don't have to hand wash and hang dry. You can wash it in the machine on warm or hot, but there are some things to avoid. You wouldn't want to use a detergent containing enzymes and no chlorine bleach on wool, as that would eat away at the wool. But you can put these through the washing machine, making it easier for them to wash. This other one that I have here is a heavy wetter fixed flat by the Blythe Life. This is my favorite nighttime diaper, since having the wool fiber incorporated in there makes these very absorbent diapers. I hope you found that helpful. I share tons here on Easy Peasy about cloth diapering with wool, so you may want to go back and watch some of my previous videos, such as my video where I show various styles of wool diaper covers. Please subscribe for more on natural cloth diapering and elimination communication. Let's spread the wool love.